Oh, so fabulous.
Hi guys, welcome back to the channel once again. It's your girl Dumebi. If this is your first time coming across my channel, you're welcome. I do hope you decide to subscribe, and if you are a returning subscriber, you guys know that I love you. It's so good to have you here. Welcome back. So today's video is strictly for educational purposes. Please do not go searching out the people that I talk about in this video. Don't send them any form of hate comment, threats, or violence. This channel does not support any of that. So there was this beautiful black woman who came out and talked about her experience as a black woman who has been in interracial relationships, and then she was speaking to other women like her. Let me just go right ahead and play her video.
Yeah, we got to talk about this. And before y'all come at me in the comments, this is a personal testimony as someone who has dated outside of my race. Plenty, okay? A lot of y'all like what you see when you date a black woman. You love the beauty of black women, which I can't blame you. You love the aesthetic. You love how different we are. You love our bodies. But the problem is a lot of y'all don't even like black people. Yeah, let's talk about it. Bruh, where are my black women at that have dated white men? Because y'all know exactly what the fuck I'm talking about. The black women who have literally experienced being called the N-word by the white man that they're dating. Let's talk about white men that have literally had children by black women, but can't stand black people. Why do y'all do that? It honestly, I'm discombobulated because make it make sense. Hold up, let me do some math real quick. Yeah, it's not adding up, because how you gonna date somebody and then just pretend the whole time like you really mess with them and fuck with them, and whole time you racist as hell, can't stand me. True story. I have a friend who's half white. She says her dad is a stone cold racist. When I say this white man hates it that his daughter identifies as a black woman, explain that to me, please. I want to know. Get in the comments and explain it to me, because y'all been doing this shit since slavery and even before then. Yeah, because we haven't forgotten. We ain't forgot. So y'all need to stop. If y'all really aren't down for black culture and black people, stop dating us, because it's actually very disrespectful and it's hurtful, and I'm not with it. So stop.
So you see, when I saw that video, I don't even know how I felt about it, because I'm like, I've not experienced it, but I know that it definitely is a thing. It has to be a thing. It has to be. So let me just go right ahead and play people's responses to what she had to say.
You love the
I really don't know why you're asking this question. Understand that you are a fetish. You are a fantasy to them. You know, you need to go and do research on people like Sarah Bartman. They like the way we moved. They like the way our great grandmothers moved during days of slavery. They like the way we did things. We like the way we looked. We like the way that they liked the way we smelt. They liked our skin. And then they used to catch us and grape us. The difference now is in 2023 is that you're willingly allowing them. Yeah? Nothing's changed, honey. Because if you are your ancestors, so are they.
White men.
Girl, right here. Let me preface this with the fact that I was young and impressionable, and I allowed a lot of stuff that I should not have allowed to happen to me from people that I should not have even allowed in my energy. Y'all literally date us, and y'all don't like black people. And y'all show it in the way that y'all treat us. Every time we get in an argument, you want to say, oh, you just like them other. And it's like, I had that happen to me once. He said that and I popped off on him. I did. But look, I was unhealed then. I'm healed now. I can just walk away. But listen, let me tell you something. We're not going to talk about that. You get in this relationship with us because you like the idea of us, but you don't like us. You don't love us. This happens a lot with a lot of really, really racist white men getting in relationships with black women just so that they can be like, oh, I dated a black girl once if they get called out for being racist.
Word by the white man that they're dating.
Yes, let's talk about that. Because the one thing is missing in this whole conversation is that black women who end up with racist white men are anti-black themselves. It means that they ignored all the signs. Because I'm sorry, as a black woman, you know when somebody is racist. You know when they're anti-black. And it has nothing to do with ethnicity, because there are black men who are anti-black. But of course it hits different when your palm-colored partner calls you the N-word bitch. And I'm sorry, he's probably said it before in front of you about somebody else, but you thought you were different. You ignored every microaggression, be it what his grandma said at the fucking family dinner, because she's too old, don't worry about it. Babe, ignore those people who are being like totally shitty towards you. It's probably because you're so beautiful. He distracted you with the gifts and paying the bills, the things that you're not used to, right? Not to mention that so many black women have been bred into struggle love, not believing the value in themselves. They allowed any man to devalue them. It just hits different when they happen to be palm colored. I have dated out since I was like 16 years old. So my dating career is pretty vast. And not once has anybody called me out of my name, made a racial slur, like whatever. Not once. Because I don't play that shit. And we all see the signs in any man that there is going to be a problem. We just ignore it. So if you ended up with a racist partner, it's because you need to unpack the anti-blackness in yourself that allowed you to ignore every effing sign that he gave you, that he was going to eventually turn that shit on you. As black women, we know. And I know it's like, I have seen black women in these relationships and how they justified until they realized what it was doing to them. And I actually talk about this on my YouTube channel, why some black women stay in relationships with palm-colored men, even though it's not serving them anymore, because it's more embarrassing to get out of these relationships because everybody was like, girl, ew, what you doing with a white man? And you had been boosting this motherfucker up and telling all of the stories of how he did this and how he did that, but you had been dealing with the microaggressions the whole entire time. So this just ain't on him, sis. It's on the shit that's in the women too. Because I can tell you right now, I would drown this man in tomato sauce if he come at me wrong.
Identifies as a black.
The reason why they do that is because the point is to erase ethnicity through breeding, through mixing, right? They did it with the natives, right? They try to whitewash them out, right? Literally erase the race through coming together and making a child. So yeah, it offends him that she identifies as black because she's half white too. She should be more proud to be white. She should embrace the whiteness. It's a part of assimilation. It's a part of literally ethnic cleansing. That's all it is. That's all it is. And the fact that you identify as black and not white means the likelihood of you breeding out your ethnicity through your children and their lineage, or socially identifying with blackness in America, considering what that means for whiteness. Yeah, that's too woke. You can be a what they said a N-word lover, right? and get with a black woman and procreate with her, but you're really not supposed to love the N-words. So that's just what it is. It's just another form of eugenics. Also, just to note, because whiteness views black pride or the acceptance and self-love of black folks as a direct opposition and competition to white superiority or white power. It's also why there's a rejection a lot of times that you'll see with white parentage towards their mixed children. It's a battle of power and dominance and assimilation, getting your numbers up, right? It's what we're seeing, with the revoking of abortion rights, right? Which is, we know, black and brown folks, we know it ain't about us. They'll kill our babies in a minute. They don't care about our babies, right? It's to what? It's to get the white majority up again so that it stays there for the next 50, 100 years, right? That is the point, right? So, of course, he's got a problem with his daughter identifying as half black or more as more black than she is white, because whiteness is often, especially in America, you can easily translate this to other European countries that have colonized across the globe. But speaking to whiteness in America, blackness is in direct opposition with white power and white superiority. So the fact that I don't even want to assimilate with that or be associated with that at all, that's like a slap in the face.
Dated outside of my race.
Something that I have learned, that I learned the hard way when it comes to dating a white guy, is that sometimes they want to date in secret. You can't meet their family or friends. And if you look at their Facebook profile, everything about black people they can't stand. They'll have Confederate flags up. They'll have what their family and friends really look like. And they're all white. And usually they're very racist. But sometimes with white guys, they have this fetish behind closed doors of being with black women because they're listening to the music, they're watching the TV shows, and they're reading the books, and all this other stuff. And there's something about a black woman's aesthetic that just makes some white men just melt. You know what I'm saying? And it's like the experience I had with a white guy was when his girlfriend had broke up with him, and she didn't like black people. So what he did was he said, let me go out and get somebody that'll make her jealous. So he ended up dating me. Right now, I got caught up in a whole other storm of stuff, but this is the thing. It's like he felt like it's okay for him to wear black designer clothes, but I can't do it. It's okay for him to wear Beats by Dre, but I can't do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it got to the point where he felt like he was more deserving of what he had because he was a white person, and he felt like, oh, well, I can't have more than him, do more than him, excel more in life than him. And it got to that point. So I had to cut him off completely. I mean, this wasn't recent or anything. This was like maybe a couple years ago. But I've learned since then because, I wanted to experience that journey on my own. I didn't want to listen to people tell me, what's going to happen, what they're going to say. But sometimes this woman is not kidding. She's telling the truth, and sometimes the truth hurts. But before you go out, just make sure you know what you're getting into when it comes to tying your heart into somebody else's. Because it's no joke when they get to flying with that N-word and they feel like they have every right to say it, that they're down for black people, so why can't they say it? Some people have more respect than others, but oh my God. I'm so glad I got over that.
Being called the N-word by the white man that they're dating.
Yeah, no, if that happened to me, it would be Bama Brawl too. But let's talk about interracial dating as a black woman. First of all, I don't know why y'all date outside of your race and instantly think that it's going to be completely better. I've dated outside of my race a lot because historically that has been the only people in my DN. Also, can we talk about the fact that you can be black and in a black relationship and your partner's anti-black? Like if you got 3 shades darker, your partner would leave you. Because that is a thing that happens. I dated a black woman darker than me one time for like 2 weeks. and she said that she usually likes light-skinned women. So yeah, let's not forget about colorism. Every single white person has at least a little bit of anti-blackness in them. I don't care if they've been decolonizing themselves for decades. There's always gonna be a little bit in there. For the purposes of this video, we're just gonna talk about white men. So you have the men who will date black women, but they are colorblind, meaning they deny anything racial whatsoever. They don't even want to consider your race in the relationship. Don't date these men. And also, when you're looking to date a person outside of your race, you have to intentionally try to trigger them. You have to intentionally say very radical beliefs when it comes to race so you can see what their real viewpoints are. I now hate the term white fragility, but you want to trigger their white fragility because you don't want to end up in the relationship sunken place. The relationship sunken place is when you're dating a non-black person, usually a white person, and you're in love with this person now, and then they say something racist. So you have the ones that are going to negate race completely. Then you have the ones who are showing up to all the events. They're protesting in the street. They say things like, oh, well, as a white man, like I understand my privilege. These be the same problematic men with the problematic spicy interests. They be the ones who have Black Lives Matter in their bio, but they also be watching problematic adult videos. And just because you really like the parents doesn't mean the parents aren't racist. Also, you have to understand your own safety within these relationships. You know that man who's walking around here crying because his snowflake wife called the police on him? Yeah, don't be that person. So if you're a black woman and you're dating a white man, you have to understand their privilege is here and yours is down here. You can't even see it, can you? So when shit goes wrong in the relationship and you want to pop off, but he has more power than you and he's going to use it against you, you have to vet interracial relationships very, very carefully when you are the person who has less privilege. I know we want to sit here and be like, oh, well, it's all love. No.
A lot of y'all don't even like black.
What she's talking about, I know firsthand. You wanna know why? Because my youngest son's father is white. And although we were best friends for 3 years prior to us having relations and producing our son, he knew what color I was. And it was fine when we were having the relations. But once I got pregnant, he flipped the script. His entire family, they don't like me. And they won't accept him because his mama is black. He has no relationship with his grandparents on that side. The only person that he actually talks to is his half brother, who's 14, who has to sneak and contact his brother because they want nothing to do. They don't want him to have contact with my son. My son has been called the N-word by that side of the family, and I will not let my child ever go over there to see those people. Ever. He knew what color I was when he got with me. My color did not change. Yeah. So I know what she's talking about, because there are some white men who fetishize about us black women, but they don't like us. So be careful.
White man hates it that his
Now, social media has urged a lot of impressionable young black women to explore and date outside their race, like date outside our race, and, you know, just see what's out there. And while I think that's all fine and dandy, and you should find love wherever love finds you, you need to be careful about the interracial dating. Because anti-blackness is prevalent in every single fucking corner in this world. I'm sorry, it just is. And those who travel enough will pick up on it. These are the same idiots who will be like, well, how can he be racist when he's dating me? Look at how look at how your partner, your non-black partner, is talking about other black people. Pay attention to that. Because you might just end up being the next token Negro. And those same non-black people who are anti-black as get to play the, well, how can I be racist when my girlfriend, my partner, my best friend is black? Because you guys let that fucking shit slide and you hold us back. It's pick-me-ism in dating. And it's pathetic behavior, and I'm sorry. I do have a tough time empathizing with some of y'all. You know, if somebody says something racist and foul to you the first time and it jumps out, shame on the other person. But if you continuously let somebody say racist shit to you, and you procreate with them, you deserve it. I really can't sympathize with you guys. Same people want to get on this internet and cry about, oh, like, my boyfriend, he would call me a nigger, and like, do you...
So now, on one hand, you have some black women that are also concurring, you know, agreeing with her, like, yes, this is definitely a thing, they experienced it as well. And then on the other hand, you have others that are like, you should be able to tell, you shouldn't date a man and not know that he's not raped to the cyst and this and that. But you guys, is it not like when, for instance, a woman enters a marriage and after she's married to this man, she realizes that he's no good, maybe he's not even taking care of the bills and stuff like that. And then you have people that come out and say, you should have known he was irresponsible. So that is what I feel when I hear people be like, oh, you should have known he was racist. Do you guys know how much people hide their character in relationships? Even in friendships, just like this woman talked about when she was best friends with a white man until she had a kid with him. That was when she realized that, okay, at that other end, it is rape to the cyst over there. My kid cannot be around him or his people. Sometimes you never really know these things. Now, I'm not excusing them. I know black women are very intuitive. We're very, like, we have our detective, you know, we have that quality about us. Most black women will be able to tell. But there are some situations where you probably overlook it, maybe because you're in love or whatever, or you straight up can't even tell. Do you guys know that people enter whole relationships and even marriages with people that they hate? Because not everybody is with somebody because of love. It happens. The fact that they see you as the exception and decide to be with you or have a child with you does not mean that they're going to like every other black person, or does not mean that when you guys have a misunderstanding that rate to the system is not going to show. But I definitely know that interracial relationships is really big right now. You guys, I'm on YouTube. On this YouTube streets, I see a lot of channels where they basically talk about how black women should start dating outside of their race because black men do this and black men do that, and we should expand our dating options. And I have no problem with that. But if you're going to do the whole interracial dating thing and having children by these people, for the sake of your children, please just do what you can. Do your due diligence to make sure that you're not entering into a racist family or exposing yourself and the children you're possibly going to have with this person to a rape to the cyst person or his family. Don't be carried away by running away from black men that you run into something worse. And then there was one of the stitches that got me really thinking, and this is an angle that I've never looked at it from before. This particular video, this lady was actually trying to explain why some of these rape to the cyst men still get with black women, even though they know they don't really like black people. Apart from fetishization, which we know is an actual thing, not just on the part of white men, but white women as well. We know fetishization is a black thing with black bodies. So aside fetishization, the second reason, which this woman pointed out, was ethnic cleansing, or basically breeding out blackness. And I was like, ooh, I never thought about that. That's an actual thing, because think about the fact that palm colored people are a majority, right? So if a palm colored person intermarries or has a child with a black person, they have a biracial child, that biracial child definitely could, you know, get involved with another palm colored person. And then when they get with a white person, the child you're going to have is going to be 25% black. That child might not even have any black features, or if the child has black features, it's probably is not even obvious. Like I'm just thinking, like I'm thinking about how easy it is to breed out blackness in a lineage. How many I know there's probably like scientific information on this and all of that, but if you guys know, please let me know in the comment section. How many generations does it take to breed out blackness? I know blackness is very strong. Our features are strong. The melanin, the hair, the features, you know, the nose, the lips, and all of that. But how many, you know, generations does it take to breed out blackness? Because with the rate at which we're having a lot of this, you know, racial mixing and all of that, it is definitely a possibility. And I think I've come across a video where it's talked about how this has happened in one of these Southern American countries before, where they kind of basically strategically breeded out the black people, so much so that when they're talking about the black people in their community now, you see biracial looking people. There's no, you know, phenotypically black looking person there anymore.
The country who seems to have been the most successful in whitewashing its population, history, and culture in Central and South America is Argentina, often referred to as the whitest country in South America. The land that Argentina lies on was subject to the same Spanish imperial ritual of destroying the land, murdering those opposed, converting the indigenous people, and enslaving African people. That being said, by the late 1700s, nearly 50% of the population on the land were black, with 30 to 40% of Buenos Aires being black or mixed race. Knowing that fact is very disturbing because today, 96% of Argentina's population is white. So then the question is, where did all the black people go? Well, to put things into perspective, Argentina's former president, Domingo Faustino Sarmiento, wrote in his diary in 1848, in the United States, 4 million are black, and within 20 years will be 8 million. What is to be done with such blacks? Hated by the white race, slavery is a parasite that the vegetation of English colonization has left attached to the leafy tree of freedom, the leafy tree of freedom being Argentina. During Sarmiento's 6-year presidency, he prevented the black community from having any access to decent infrastructure and healthcare, resulting in thousands of deaths from viral outbreaks. He led the mass incarceration of black men, which resulted in thousands of deaths from malnourishment. Any black man who wasn't in prison was forced to fight in the Paraguayan War of 1864, a war the Argentinian government knew they would not win, sending thousands of black men to their deaths. These events make up the strategic and secret genocide that had wiped out the black population, so much so that by 1875, the government did not register African descendants in the national consensus. So in the span of about 20 years, hundreds of thousands of black people living in Argentina either migrated out of the country or were murdered. And nobody talks about it. Now, there's so much more that could be said about Argentina's complicit culture today, but I'm happy we're having these conversations now. And if you're wondering how things are in Argentina today, I'll leave you with this quote from former President Carlos Menem. In Argentina, blacks do not exist. That is a Brazilian problem. And if you didn't know, Argentina recently won the FIFA World Cup. So I feel like it's a perfect time to maybe start talking about reparations.
So, like, that's an actual thing. So I want to know you guys' thoughts on this whole issue. Then another thing I want to say is, I don't know why people think that interracial relationships or interracial marriages is what is going to solve racism. I don't think so. No, it's not that easy. Someone can get married to someone and still hate their people. You can still have those biases and still procreate with a black person. If anything, instead of solving racism, you're actually exposing the kids you're going to have, the interracial kids, to racist family members. That's the way that I see it. Now, I'm not saying that it's impossible for it to happen, that the interracial relationships and marriages can actually help to, you know, reduce racism, but on a larger scale, I don't think people should see that as the solution. I don't know. You guys let me know what you think in the comment section. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.